sharing your views on technology related to psychology. Thank you, ma'am. Now we have another panelist, Mrs. Revati Ramamurthy, Associate Vice President, Sonata Software. She leads mobility service delivery at Sonata Software Limited. She has 15 plus years of experience in IT spanning across different areas like J2EE, SOA, portals and mobility. She has performed various roles from development to solutioning as well as pre-sales and led various engagements at Sonata. She is also a TOGAF certified architect. Her interest lies in architecture, mobiles, IoT and applying these technologies in solving various challenges in the enterprises. On behalf of the institution, now I request Dr. Balakrishna Acharya sir, Director of MSc Psychology, to formally welcome the panelists.
And the demands of the enterprises and the customers, how in future, what are the things you can expect? You guys are going to go out, right, in a year or 6 months, and and believe me, it is not the opportunity like what the software developers had some 5 years back. Everything is going to change. The expectations are different. It's just not programming and maintaining some computers. The things are going to be different. The problems you have to solve will be so very different from what we as a programmer solved some 10 years back. So I thought a very, very high level of what I gathered from my reading, my experience, I can share with you, hoping this will give you an idea on what you should do post your graduation or post-graduation or during your professional life. Right, so, right, today, my brother-in-law is actually doing business in Africa. He's an Indian, he's a normal marketing person. You know Africa, dog continent, underdeveloped, that's a reality. But today, thousands of lives are saved because of the phone. They don't have a hospital, they don't have infrastructure, most of them, they have not seen a computer. But 92% of the people have mobile phones. So, and one of the serious diseases today in Africa is AIDS, or any blood-related diseases, right? So what they do, they can't get a hospital, they get a phone. That is digital transformation. The whole infrastructure, you don't have to have a building as part of development. You don't have to have a scan center, whatever, clinics or anything. You get a phone, you are able to diagnose, and that is 97% success. If somebody has a disease or not a disease, that is 97% success. I just want to set a context on what is digital transformation. This is the transformation which is affecting not the elite, not the American who is sitting in Silicon Valley and doing some programming. This is something which affects countries like India, countries in Africa, and which is changing everybody's life to the core and the life they're leading. So just get a context. Elites have technology, elites have been having technology, digital transformation is touching the poorest and making everybody's life better. So that is something we need to keep in mind when we talk about digital transformation. Okay? And I also start with a quote. Sun Tzu is one of a famous strategist in China. He used to organize wars and he used to win wars. And there used to be strategy for winning wars. And he says, strategy without tactics, you can't win. You can imagine many things, but you can't win. You should have tactics to execute them. But if you have tactics without strategy, you'll be just making a noise before defeat. I will give an analogy. What is strategy? Strategy is different ways of doing things. And tactics is the technology. You have various ways of solving the problem. Ma'am just told how they want to analyze the human behavior, everything. Imagination is unlimited. But how do you do that? The technology innovation, the ease of technology, just not the elite of big computers, but how technology comes to the core and enables every individual to do that is important. So people are thinking of different ways of doing business, different way of improving the social life, different way of serving people, NGOs, everybody, but technology is going to be the what you say, enabler to do all these things. If technology innovation don't happen, this won't happen. So this is what I want to convey. So just to get a context, what is digital? It's just such a common, like .com in 2000, remember? Everybody will use one analogy or one word which is seen everywhere. But let us come to reality. As students, you should understand what digital transformation is. One is products becoming digital. Movies. Nobody buys a DVD today, right? Movies are digital. Everything is, you don't buy a physical product. It becomes a digital product. Music, iPod changed the world. That's one thing. Next is business models. Like the cab booking. Can you ever imagine 6 years back, you can book a cab with a small device on your hand? The entire way, you don't have to have 6 visiting cards with 7 phone numbers who never pick up the phone to get a cab when you have emergency. My dad is in Tamil Nadu in a remote place. They are still living alone and he's 80 plus. And I just told him how to use Ola. And he needs to go somewhere. He doesn't have to bother about calling an auto driver. He just does it. It changes the whole business model and everybody becomes equal participation. It's a great leveler. Everybody who is willing to serve, who is going to put extra life, business model is going to help them. So a new kind of business models. Third is new business processes. How the healthcare is being served. How insurance is being done. How you want to buy a travel insurance, you want to go abroad, night 1 o'clock is the flight. Until 12 o'clock, you didn't know that you have to buy insurance. You sit with the Wi-Fi in airport, you buy insurance. Whole process of buying the insurance has become digital. So these are some of the examples. So digital transformation is just not a myth. It is, in our view, there are 3 ways of doing, and all handled by the digital plumbing, which is the technology, the e-commerce, the cloud, the big data, and pervasive computing, edge computing. Whatever is happening is going to be the enabler for all this. So these are the 4 dimensions of the digital transformation. Devices. People talked about your mobiles, beacons, this, that, their devices. Connectivity. Last week, Reliance gave a big. Connectivity is going to be a big booster. Without connectivity, nothing is going to happen. That's a start, right? Connectivity and data and computing. Today, nobody bothers about computing power, the cost of everything's a service. You go to Amazon, create an account. If you have a credit card, you're having a computer. You don't see the computer, CPU or anything. But a product has become a service, a computing power. So these 4 are the dimensions which fuel the digital transformation. Whatever I told in the earlier slide, right? New products, new business model, new business processes, all these 4 are the key. And these are the 4 areas, believe me, there will be a lot of investment. A lot of venture capitalists are looking for innovations in these areas which will change the way we are doing business and the way we are living the life. So, just to give, I think there's a problem. Okay. It's not reflecting the colors. Anyway, what I wanted to say is, this slide has the word called IT. Till 2010, IT is the word. And today, IoT is the word. And tomorrow, IoE is the Internet of Everything. Every business will connect. An insurance company, tomorrow, before giving insurance to you, they will get all the feeds from a healthcare company where you have been going. For every doctor, when you measure your BP, you go to the insurance company's database. So next year, you go and can't lie, oh, I don't have a hypertension. Right? So that's what this represents. IT is ERP, applications, what we did in our old days. We are all 10 years back, programming all ERP technology, software, coding and all that. Today, the devices are taken over, the mobile, the iBeacon, wearables and all that. And tomorrow, enterprises will take over, connecting to each other, talking to each other, everybody knowing everything. So it's actually a nuisance, no? But you can't escape. You just walk out, 30 minutes to home. Why do I have to be reminded? For your time to office, 9 o'clock, I open my mobile, I get a notification, time to office. Everybody is talking to everybody. Data is being shared. Your behavior is analyzed. That's ma'am was talking about that in the earlier thing. So it's going to be a very disruptive technology, but you can't help it. That's the way it is. So this is the Internet of Things today. Mobiles, Wi-Fi routers, OVED, Apple Watch, iBeacon, IPL TV. These things are today. They are available today. They are in at least employed in all the developed countries. In India, it's slowly catching up. Basically, you have sensor technology and nanotechnology and smart technology, all this computing power doing this. And these are typical application. Mr. Nagaraj from Westgate was talking, how he is actually from where he sits, he wants to control the way the vans are being routed, right? Different verticals, different machines, different equipments have to talk to each other. As soon as, immediately if the van is getting late, the customer has to be notified. So everything, logistics, assisted driving, which is what we was talking, mobile ticketing, environment monitoring, you monitor, because you need to know, okay, monsoon is going to be failure, this is going to be the problem, probably if you run that tomorrow, but would not have happened, probably. So we should have the kind of predictive things affecting the normal lives. Healthcare, I talked about in Africa what's happening. Smart environments, you don't switch on the AC before you go. Maybe in a hot country, just rightly the right time. Personal and social, which you are experiencing right now. In future, is going to be robotic taxi, city information model, and enhanced game room. Some of the cities in US have this, but it's going to be in all over the world. So, my last topic, the Internet of Everything. So it's going to be connecting everything. You are also becoming a thing. You are individual. There will be a chip probably. Now your DNA will be monitored. As soon as you are born, like your blood test and everything is taken, your DNA will be taken, fed, and based on the DNA, everything will be tracked. And based on your DNA, your parents, diabetic or anything, your whole life will be controlled and monitored. So, healthcare, automotive, smart cities, smart transportation, smart energy, smart homes. What is M2M? Machine to machine, mobile to mobile, mobile and machine to mobile and machine to machine. Mobile to mobile is almost happening. Which is what you're seeing. All the research is happening in all this. How do farm community and weather prediction team, they work together? How do production and logistics work together to avoid wastage, to monitor the production and to monitor the price? So I think this is where many of the future research will happen, and anybody interested can take this. So this is what I told. Connection is only the beginning. Reliance providing a nice 4G connection is not going to solve the problem, right? You need to have a framework to connect multiple devices have to talk, your mobile has to talk, iBeacon has to talk, industries have to talk, and there has to be interoperability, and there should be a vertical use case, very vertical use cases like healthcare use cases have to be done, and flexibility should be there. New challenges, this is a research. You should be able to discover the friendly devices. At the same time, you should be able to secure against the bad actors. You should be able to identify. You should interoperate. These are the things research is going on. These are the areas where multiple industries will be able to work together. So the future research and the investment will be towards this kind of areas. So last, what are the risks? Many of you, I don't know how many of you have traveled to different countries where even the PowerPoint, simple thing, power plug. You go from India to even to Bangladesh or Singapore, you can't use your laptop adapter. That was because of non-standardization. When every country had their own way of even providing the basic electric sockets. So you have to have a travel adapter. And at least when people discovered USB, now USB is a big boon, right? Anything you can connect. So some kind of standardization came there. And now that kind of mistake of not having the standardization is avoiding that is very important. Otherwise, everybody will develop their own standards and there will be a lot of effort, wastage in adapting that. Tech backlash. It's something people may not, the haves and have-nots, not accessing certain things may have some stuff. Security and privacy I talked about, it's really scary. No, if you're going on leave and everybody knowing, including the thief, right? That's going to be a problem. And privacy, you really want to be alone. I remember one of my colleagues, she told me he's really sick. And that night I checked the Facebook, he's my Facebook friend. And he's having some party in the pub, right? Okay, and all the best. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have many questions about what the future is likely to be. So, anybody want a forecast of the future on a specific thing, you can ask right away. In the meanwhile, what I would request, ma'am, if you can just share, as a student, what kind of preparation you think is required to be comfortable in the world of this type?
As a student of today, to be comfortable, I think there are 2 or 3 qualities you require. Your marks, your studies are not the most important thing. One is your learnability, your willingness to learn throughout your life. The minute you finish your graduation or post-graduation doesn't mean you've finished studying. So the willingness to learn. Second is optimism, that the world is good, because the more positive you are, the more happier you are, and therefore you'll attempt more things. Okay? So optimism and resilience. If you have these 3, you'll be able to conquer the world. Exams are just a small part of the stress that you face.
Yeah, anyone has any questions? Yeah, please.
I'm Sachin. My question is for Surana. Ma'am, you were speaking about virtual psychotherapy and everything. I have a question there. Suppose we give an intervention virtually. Like, for example, I have let's say that I have a phobia for height. Okay, so, in the virtual simulation, I'll be shown a situation in which I'll be standing on top of a building. Okay, fine. And I'm trained in the manner. But again, if I'm again put in a real situation like that, I think there could still be a chance that I'm still phobic, because it's not just a visual stimulus that affects me. There's also the gravity and other things. So how can you overcome the ecological factors?
Virtual psychotherapy or virtual reality psychotherapy is not so simple. If behavior change was so easy, psychologists would be gods. Okay? Please sit. So in virtual therapy, or especially for phobia, what they do is, it's not that all phobias can be treated through virtual reality. It depends on the individual, it depends on the type of phobia, it depends on whether it can be simulated. But what they do is, I give an example, for snake, half of the US has a phobia for snakes. India, there's not so much. Okay? So if it is a snake, for example, or if it is heights, what they do is, through virtual reality, they simulate that environment. But remember, the psychotherapist is also there. It's not that it's so mechanical that we make you go up the steps and we assume you have got rid of your phobia. So the psychotherapist is there. This is more a behavior modification theory. It is not psychotherapeutic. It is not classical psychoanalysis. So what type of therapy you will use would depend on your theoretical orientation as a therapist. If you are behavior modification, you believe that behavior changes. If behavior is modified, the symptoms will disappear. Then you will use virtual reality as one of the techniques that you will do. But remember, as a therapist, you're always there as a second hand to the patient. Okay? After he has gone through virtual reality, you then actually practice in reality. So once you have done climbing heights in a virtual world, you will then actually practice it in real life. But since all the desensitization has happened because you've climbed heights there, it's easier to do it in the real world. So it is not that, it's not so simple as I said. But virtual reality and virtual psychotherapy is being used nowadays, especially because the demand is much more. We don't have psychotherapists for every type of disorder for everyone. So this at least manages part of the disorder. I hope I have made it clear.
Thank you.
Anyone else? What kind of preparation in terms of what should he definitely know well to be in the future? You know, many years ago, maybe 30 years ago or something, when I did my, when I was studying, somebody told me, we are going to teach you COBOL. You know, it's a historic language. We are going to teach you COBOL, and this is the logic that is going to be used ever after. You know, whatever happens after this, they will use this logic. To some extent, maybe what they meant was true, but then a lot of water has flown after that. So, as a student who is studying now, what do you think are those essential tech skills one should have that will be long-standing?
Thank you. Yeah, such a. See, I started my career as a Java developer, right? And today I am actually handling mobility. Can any one of you just attempt to think how many models of mobiles are there today? 20,000 active models of mobile today. Active models, I'm not telling the number of. The permutation combination of the operating system plus the device plus the manufacturer plus their own models with brown color, black color, whatever camera size. There are so many models. And when we start a simple Android, even if you take, if you have to code for Android as evaluated from Android 1 to today, Android 7 is going to come. It's constantly evolving. People have to learn. But what is the core, what you call, foundation of your learning process? First, you should have common sense. Somehow I find, people think programming is different from common sense. Common sense is important. Think problem objectively, then comes the technology. I remember one of the, in fact, I was talking to a Reliance CIO. He was telling there was a column to put your date of birth. And we have to if you are born in 1960, you have to click 40, 50 times to go back to reach that 1960. If you are born in 5, 12, 1960, it's a common sense, right? So apply common sense in whatever you do. Find the problem, technology problem, you're going to solve your problem through technology. Let us all be clear on the technology students. Technology is going to be an enabler. But apply common sense first. Never let go of that. I find people leaving the common sense and trying to think technology. That's going to be a problem. Have common sense first. Second, very objective thinking. Over the common sense, your education should have given you the way you have to think objectively. In terms of segregating the data, in terms of segregating the problems, in terms of segregating the logic. Learn that. Today it may be Android. I don't know 2 years from now whether any of the Android phones is going to be there or it's going to be a new operating system. Have that problem solving capability in terms of data and logic and hold on to it. Any programming language is just a syntax. It's just a construct. If you're going to put a if loop this way in this language, it's going to be the other way in other language. But the thinking process in terms of segregating what is data, what is object, what is logic is going to be important. Have a clarity on that. And next, like ma'am said, learnability. You have to be, there's no end. And if you're choosing, I think like medicine, doctors used to envy when I came out of engineering. My cousin who was a doctor, he used to say, you are so lucky, your schooling, your studies are over. And we have to keep, updating ourselves. You won't go to a doctor who is obsolete and using the old way of treating you, right? But unfortunately, that is true for every field today. You can't say that you have just graduated and you have learned. Learning, and especially in this industry, if you are in software and you are going to program and you have the technology, you have to just know what is going to happen where. And you have to be ready for the changes. That means you have to equip yourself, otherwise you'll be out of the job. I remember 6 years back, there was a technology called Flash and Flex. If you don't know that, you are out. You won't have a job. That was the thing. And the whole company there is no technology called Flash. After the mobiles came and after Apple didn't support. So it's just be ready for the change. Have always an insurance where you will be skilling yourself, you will be learning. Like MOOC, there are various courses. Open your ears and listen. And if you are not doing that, you'll be redundant. And especially if you are in the software and technology field. If you are not able to understand the context and have all the other things, common sense and technology foundation, keep learning, keep your eyes and ears open. Don't think, I learned Java, next 15 years I don't have any problem. It is unfortunately not the case. And I have seen myself, I have gone through various courses of learning and I'm still insecure. I won't know what will happen tomorrow. Six months from now, whether the role I'm doing is going to be relevant to my organization. The skills I've learned. But if I have the capability of learning, observing, hearing and being ready, and also finally the common sense to accept the reality, that is something, that's where I think the psychologists are going to play the role. That's going to be there. That's going to help you in a career. And all the best.
Thank you, ma'am. That was nice. Yeah, anybody else has a question?
That's a good question because we can't be without food. And I think agriculture is, unfortunately, in countries like India, it's very manual. And poor guy, the guy today, very pathetic and the sad reality is those who undertake agriculture are those considered illiterates, right? It's a very different problem. We can't discuss here, but that's the case. But so they are the guys who have to be constantly helped out by all sections of the society. I think that's where the technology is going to play the role. Imagine he's going to sow the seeds 1 week from now and he's expecting a rain. And he's having a simple mobile phone with a text. He need not even have a smartphone, a 1,000 rupees mobile phone, and he's getting a message in his native language, not in fancy English, that, okay, please postpone sowing by a week because IMD has analyzed the data and this is the pattern and we don't see rain in a week. And imagine how much that can save. I think tomorrow's problem, or what we are discussing today in the current context in India, is also related to that. If all the stakeholders are given the right information at the right time, especially the agriculturists who are suffering, who don't have help, and who are really not getting the returns for the hard work they are putting, the technology is going to help right from the weather prediction and the market rate. No, I remember seeing a month back on the paper, tomatoes being strewn around, 3 rupees per kg. No, you don't even get a coffee, 1 rupee. I felt like crying, looking at the packaging. I'll give you 1 lakh. Can you produce a tomato here? No. He's undergone such a long cycle of sowing, watering, and nurturing the plant and getting the fruit out of it, and he's not able to sell. Imagine, he and the industry is processing the tomatoes are connected. And he is able to tell by mobile phone, I am having 15 kgs of tomato to be picked up tomorrow. And the food processing industry, which is taking that ketchup, doing ketchup, who can have the facility stored there, is taking that and is getting a money which is really valuing his hard work. So the examples are enormous. It's just not one. It's not. That's what I said. It's not for the elite. Technology, the transformation. The word transformation is very key here. The transformation is really a game changer. It is going to change the way you are looking at solving your problems, the way you can imagine solving the problem, and the technology is going to aid that. If that mobile phone gives the information, look, you're going to have a bumper produce, and I got information from 15 farmers that they also have a bumper produce, the price is bound to fall, and he can take with a single SMS, he can contact industries and get good price for his hard work. So I just give 2 examples, and if we keep talking, it is a topic which everybody can contribute for the whole year. And unfortunately, whatever digital transformation is, everybody has stomach and everybody has to eat, right? Even if you are a non-vegetarian eating a meat, that has to have some plants to feed. So I think that's what I am excited about. Like online e-commerce, all that is fine. That's for the elite, people who can afford, right? Who can afford 1,000 rupees mobile, 10,000 rupees mobile, get a bargain of 500 in hour. That's different.
Nowadays you'll find more of farmer suicide. It is one of the very burning problem in Karnataka. I think many people have committed suicide. It is mainly because of lack of psychoeducation to the farmers. And one more thing here is, if you are giving psychoeducation at the very early stage to the farmers, and even the online counseling can be made. Whenever they are in distress, they can contact the counselors to have the remedy for their problem. It is not that we are able to solve their financial problem. We can make them how to make use of the psychological planning to overcome their distress. And also, we can make them how to manage with the money that is available with them. So this is one of the things that can be taken more care, and research can be done, and the farmers can be helped, that is downtrodden in the society.
That's important.
I have seen in this corporate world that the increasing technology makes human lazy. I mean, like for things which we have online shopping, it has come. We used to physically go and bring things. Now we just sit in one room and book the things. And most of the thinking capacity of the human also decreases, because if we don't know anything, we don't attempt to go and look it for the books. We just Google it, we get to know. And what my concern is about the remembering things. the capacity to remember things also goes down. How should one person tackle these things with this existing technology and increasing technology?
Shopping be a cause for laziness? It could also be because of time pressure. Most people who resort to online shopping are ones who, the double income, there's no time to go, and therefore they do the shopping. Those online shopping as a lazy thing, it is mainly when you're not spending your own money. Okay? So it is not that online shopping causes laziness, or laziness, I don't think is a direct cause and effect relationship. But yes, as I said, it depends on how you use technology. Technology is good in the sense that all articles are all available, you don't have to go to a library and search. But it does not mean that because it is there, you will read it anytime, or you don't even read it because it is there anyway. It is like books we buy and we'll read it at one time. We also know now that research material is there, we don't read it. How do you remember? Do you need to remember? All this will finally depend on, do you want to study? If you are determined, it is not that technology causes laziness. The ones who have developed the technology are not lazy. Okay? So, it is that, if you are self-motivated, if you are motivated to learn, you will remember. If you are opening a book because you have to study, nothing will go into your head. So, if I use the cognitive information processing, you should pay attention for information to enter. If you're not even paying attention, you may sit in front of your books for 2 hours. At the end of 2 hours, not even one word you'll be able to remember. So remembering and all is not because of technology. It is because you have so many other things to interest you that studies becomes the last thing in your mind. Okay? Unfortunately, in India, these years are the most important years of your life. And they add every mark counts. Your marks card is your visa for everything else. Unfortunate, I know, but that is reality, and that is why I tell you, please study. Do your best. We don't want you to get the first rank, but you should have no regrets later on. That is all. So remembering and all will be, don't get too worried. If you want to remember, you'll remember.
Thank you, ma'am.
You have a question, sir?
Yeah. Thing is, we all know that communication has overcome transportation. I want to know what can be the role of digital transformation in improving transportation. See, we live in Silicon Valley. We all say that even Clinton hates Bangalore. The word Bangalore itself she hates because of outsourcing and all. But our transportation system is so bad. Every day I travel 5 hours a day. So how can digital transformation help us in improving the transportation conditions?
I don't think any of us here are in a position to answer that one. Though I know I have heard about a lot of work happening in traffic management and with the police, as well as in highway planning and highway use. Lot of technology is being used, but I don't know beyond that there's any answer right now. If there were, somebody would have used it.
Work from home is already there.
Work from home is another option, is what our friends say. Yeah.
Digital transformation is not the cure for all.
Yeah.
I think we need to understand that digital transformation is in the hands of a good person, it can transform. It is not that there is an answer that will solve all our issues. It is finally the human being who will solve it. And as I said, the computer, the digital mechanisms are as intelligent as the individual using it. I do not know, there are SPSS programs, I don't know how many have used it. You can do idiotic statistics and get answers, which make no sense at all. So it depends on how you use it. Similarly, traffic, I'll tell you, why do you want to travel 5 hours, take up a house nearer? Stress management. So there are different ways by which you could cope. I'm not talking about you.
I do agree with
No.
can shift my house.
Yeah, no.
But
Different
see,
ways
we
of
have
coping.
very poor signal systems.
Yeah.
How to use digital transformation in
We don't
improving
even
the-
need digital transformation. We need good traffic rules that we follow. The minute you see a policeman, you follow traffic rules. The minute you don't see it, you just... So once you start violating, then there is traffic jams, etc. So it is highly depends on the individual. Do you want to follow rules? Because rules have been made for some reason. And if you follow rules and roads, there is corruption, there is bribery, so all those other issues come in. Digital transformation will not help.
On behalf of all of you, I am going to ask. Most students definitely suffer from this discussion that was there about anxiety when we are not able to be in touch with our smartphone or with our internet life. So if you're not in touch with our internet life for half an hour, then we become anxious. Okay, this is a reality. I'm sure nobody admits it, but most people suffer from it. And so I want to ask ma'am, if what would you suggest for something like that? And after that we will break. Okay, so this is probably the last question.
Okay. Internet, I will not call it internet addictions. I'm not making it pathological case at all. If you get anxious that your signal, you think someone wants to reach out to you and not able to reach out, or you're not able to access it, there will be a lot of self-reflection required. Why is it that your entire life circles around that mobile? I don't think the mobile should be your best friend. Okay? If you really want to get out of it through, either you can use the cold turkey method, leave your mobile at home and come to college and see what happens. One day, 2 days, you'll find the whole world doesn't change at all. Okay? If you cannot there are people who are every half an hour checking on mobiles. I've had marital relationships breaking because every time the wife is half an hour checking, is there a mobile and that light ring, is enough to wake up her husband, and her husband is working hard, and all those other issues. All I told her was, switch off your mobile at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever time you go to sleep. If there's an emergency, her idea was, my parents are not well, suppose there's an emergency, how do they contact me? And that was her idea of keeping the mobile on. I said, give your mobile as an emergency, give someone else's number, they will come and call you if there's a real emergency. Try it for 2 days, you'll find that nothing changes, your world still continues, and then there can be slow, you can then go back to it. So one thing is, you should be willing to change. It is not the mobile causing anxiety, it is you causing anxiety. So if you're willing to say that the mobile is not the most important thing in my life, if I need to be called or reach, someone will reach me before. Like landline, before there were landlines, how did they reach you? Same way, then you will find that you are willing to make a change. Okay, so mobile anxiety is just an excuse. Okay, it is not really a valid reason to be anxious. Hope I answered it, or I have added to the confusion.
An expert is someone who knows more and more about less and less, until eventually he or she knows everything about nothing. A warm good afternoon to all, and welcome you all to our expert talk on Interdisciplinary National Conference on Digital Transformation. Knowledge is power. Knowledge management is the art of creating value from intangible assets. In the digital age, knowledge is our lifeblood, and documents are the DNA of the knowledge. Having said this, I would take this great honor and opportunity to introduce today's guest for our expert talk on knowledge management in a networked world, Dr. Rashmi Devanath. She is alumnus from Department of Psychology, Bangalore University, with over 21 years of experience, composite of academics and corporate. She is an accomplished business professional and has to her credit several international certifications. Her expertise spans across learning and development domain in the corporate. Her core competencies include behavior assessment and development, execution and process excellence, and evaluation of leadership programs. Dr. Rashmi Devanath, in the current role as L&D professional with a talent transformation of Wipro, manages design, development and delivery of various programs for the individual contributors and managers of Wipro. In addition, she is also responsible for the skill development of customers facing employees of Wipro at various global locations. Her passion is on enabling Wiproids in the skills areas such as communication excellence, workplace competencies, cross-culture, and career consciousness for women employees. Madam, we are very honored, and ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our guest for the day, Dr. Rashmi Devnath. I request Dr. G.P. Surana sir and Srinivas sir to accompany and do the honors. I request them to felicitate our guest.
Can I hear something back? No. Alright. Thank you for showing that you are alive and kicking. Proud to be here, happy to be here, always back at academics because I spent 12 years in academics. Always nice to speak with the postgraduate students is what I will tell you. Today I'm here to talk about knowledge management, and I think I'm the right person to talk about because knowledge management comes into the picture and extremely useful whenever we have large organizations. And I come from one of the large organizations, particularly the IT sector. So it's not only the scale that I'm talking about, but also the changing technology, making it all the more important for us to share knowledge. However, it would be very heartening to note for all of you, the knowledge management concept, arose where exactly? The concept arose when the first university was set up. So any idea which was the first university college that was set up? Okay, that's fine. So you have gone back to that. So we say when it has to come to a kind of a process, Banaras University, all right, I'm also talking about the entire globe. The credit goes to Harvard, by the way. So it started in the 18th century. There was, a lot of movement of people happening. Knowledge was getting gathered, and they were wondering, fine, we are having so much of knowledge, but how is it that we are going to utilize it in an economical way? In the sense, how do we translate the knowledge into business? Plainly stated, how do we earn more money from knowledge? Yeah. So that's how it is. And of course, later on, it was not just spending money on the R&D of the universities, but also the organization started having R&D divisions. But it was very clear, the budget was very clear. This is all that we have for R&D. But after that, you need to show value. All right. So businesses exist in order to make that kind of economy. So let me take you through what is it that is in store for you in terms of this is what happens to technology. Nothing like manual, okay? All right. Well, the evolution of knowledge management, a very brief introduction which I've already started. We're also looking into the key players in knowledge management. Who are the key players? I'm not going to complicate that. I'm just going to give you two categories under key players. Also sharing with you an example of what we do at Wipro, and that's what I mean by knowledge management applied. So I'll share with you all the micro behaviors that are required, which probably would be of very interesting to you. And finally, we come to the conclusion of what are the enablers of knowledge management. And finally, of course, we have formally what is called the Q&A, that is the question and answers, but I would like to call that as a dialogue time. So keep your pens and notebooks ready. So as and when you have the questions, please make a note of it so that you can ask those questions. Or probably even if you have something to share, you can always share that towards the end of my presentation. Are we good to go? Again, I will go back to my manual. Okay, knowledge management, the evolution and the need. So does this look familiar to you, by the way? Yeah. This one, knowledge worker is one who works primarily with information or one who develops and uses knowledge in the workplace. So this definition was given by Peter Drucker. So all the management students over there, so this should be familiar to you. Peter Drucker gave this. You will also notice it's very individualistic in nature, right? Because it's only talking about the individual learning and applying it at the workplace. Now look at how it has evolved now. Do you see that word sharing coming into the picture here? So sharing plays a large role in knowledge management. Without sharing, knowledge management cannot happen. Okay? So look at this definition here. Sharing knowledge is not about giving people something or getting something from them. So it's definitely not a give and take kind of a relationship. Alright, I give you one chocolate today, tomorrow also you give me back one chocolate. Or I'll allow you to make 2 calls today, so tomorrow also please lend your mobile to make 2 calls. Not of that type. That is only valid for information sharing. So sharing knowledge occurs when people are genuinely interested in helping one another develop new capacities for action. It is about creating a learning process. We see that now even this also has evolved further. So towards the end of my presentation, we are going to look at a very evolved feature of knowledge management. And you can say this is going to be version 3. So we have version 1 by Peter Drucker. By the way, this version 2 is given by Peter Senge, the author of the book, The Fifth Discipline. Very popular book. So management students out there, so please get hold of that book, The Fifth Discipline. If you have not yet, read that, it's a good book, I would say. Yeah. So do you agree that we are moving away from plenty of manufacturing economy to information economy, right? So as a result, the intangible products. So when you're talking about information, you're talking about us, people, us. So what do we carry? That's something that people cannot see. And that's why we call that intangible. We carry intangible products, and even when I'm telling you, please read that book, it means I'm trying to tell you something which is intangible, which may not be seen readily. Also, it has been noticed that it's very easy to, particularly in the business, very soon the competition is looking at what you're doing, and it hardly takes about a month's time now to imitate and to do exactly the same. So definitely this is a world of red ocean strategy, because competition is always watching what you are doing, and they will definitely simply mimic. So in order to gain that competitive advantage, we say constantly we have to keep learning and sharing knowledge. And of course attrition, this is one of the biggest, I would say, concern, that is attrition. And particularly in the IT services, at times, it can go even up to 30%. It's not only the engineers that we are talking about, even the HRs for that matter, the attrition rates can be 30%. So it's very common to managers, for managers to say, in the last 15 days, I have come across 3 resignations. So we say when people move out of organizations, they also take with them what they know. Right? Yes, knowledge also walks out with them. So what do we do with that? So we need to at least retain, if not the people, at least the knowledge part of it. And of course, there are such large organizations, Wipro, 1.7 lakhs as I'm talking to you today. And there are bigger organizations, having 3 lakhs and odd employees. Some of our customers have even more than that, up to 5 lakh employees. So very clearly it means that we cannot expect people to know everything that the organization does. So we need some kind of a platform so that there is no reinventing the wheel constantly. And of course, changing technology. And if you just Google and then find out how many technologies are there, I think by the time you graduate and you attend an interview, there is already at least 5 new technologies coming in. So at any given point of time, one individual is working simultaneously with at least 3 technologies. Reading up, working on it, reading up, working on it. Definitely it is very strenuous. So is it a possibility to simultaneously work on 3 technologies? So what is it that we can do so that people can learn smartly? So these are some of the reasons why knowledge management is becoming, or rather gaining prominence, is what I would say. So remember I told you that I'm going to simplify this and then mention only 2 key players over here. So So who are the key players in knowledge management? Yeah, so we are talking about technology. Technology is extremely important, particularly when the organizations are very large and also old organizations. Because as number of people leave, we do not want that knowledge to just go away with the person. Well, the person leaves with the knowledge, but then also leaves the knowledge behind. So as a result, technology is something that we cannot run away with. We need technology in order to retain and also develop knowledge. So that's the software part of it. So let me also tell you, plainly stated, the other one, people who create. So on one hand we have the software, on the other hand we have the mindware. Okay? Is there a barrier? Yes, there are. We're going to look into what are the barriers a little later. Let's look at the technology. Well, the choice of technology depends upon what kind of knowledge are we talking about. Are we talking about a new technology, or are we talking about a process, or are we only talking about any random learning and then putting them together? So we have to be very clear about what type of knowledge in order to choose the technology as well. And the next one is what we're talking about, the scale. How big is that kind of interactions that are happening within the organization as far as the learning is concerned. Yeah. So some of the common technologies, at least what Wipro has been using is a SharePoint and Yammer. Both of them are Microsoft products. Sometimes we keep wondering, do we work for Wipro or do we work for Microsoft? So Yammer is an open enterprise network. It's something like your Facebook. So Facebook is social network, Yammer is enterprise network. So just Google and then find out about that also. It's very similar to Facebook. Only thing is people connect to get professional information, technology related information on Yammer. So within that, of course, we can have groups. So instead of sending mails, people send messages on Yammer. Now coming to SharePoint, SharePoint is a portal where, just let us say one semester students can exchange knowledge and only they can have access to it. So it can be limited. And of course, your respective professors also have access to it, which will not be visible for others. So in the case of organizations, it can be limited to the...
For your wonderful expert advice and sharing your expertise with us. We have reached to give away the Best Paper Award. For this, I request Dr. G.P. Sudhakar sir, Srinivas sir, Acharya sir and our guest to come on dais and give away the Best Paper Award. We have two best papers. The second best paper award goes to Rashmi Shivashankar, and the area is a survey on college students' impact. The best paper award for students. The best paper award for students goes. We have 3 awards for this, and the second best paper award goes to Nikita Nath for a correlation study, internet addiction and anxiety in students and its advantage. And finally, best paper for student, it goes to Murlidhar V, Abhishek RV and Sai Lakshmi for challenges in digital recruitment, a case study on software industry and its adjudged. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Good evening. Respected dignitaries present over here, delegates, participants, and my dear fellow colleagues. The Interdisciplinary National Seminar on Digital Transformation has been scheduled for 2 days, the 8th and 9th, has been condensed for 1 day in view of Bandh tomorrow. Probably we are able to have the digital transformation by having the program for only 1 day. This has all happened because of our digital transformation, I can say. The conference has been mainly organized to disseminate knowledge, the shared knowledge in digital transformation, in which interdisciplinary approach is being followed by having a management, the computer applications, and psychology. And I can say that the National Seminar on the Digital Transformation is very, very useful in the present IT revolutions. I take this opportunity to thank the chief guest who has inaugurated the national seminar, Sri Ashok Kamiji, Regional Head, NASSCOM, Karnataka. On behalf of the management and the PG Center of Surana College, I profusely thank Abhinav Jori by giving the keynote address on digital transformation and business. Dr. Ashok H.S., Professor of Psychology, Bangalore University, for giving keynote address on digital transformation, change, challenge, and choice. Dr. Chandrasekhar, IT consultant, who has given the keynote address on technical session. On behalf of the management, I thank all the experts who have delivered the keynote address. The panel discussion on the vistas of the future digital world by the panel members, Mr. Vinay Kumar Satrave, General Manager, Digital Commerce Practice, Mindtree; Dr. Sudha Bogle, Head of EduCafe, Student Solutions, Bangalore; Mrs. Revati Ramurthy, AVP, Sonata Software; and Mr. Nagaraj, KB, CEO and Director, Innovative Retail Concepts, BigBasket.com. I extend the thanks to all these panel members who have deliberated on these issues. We thank Dr. Rashmi D, who has served as an expert member and delivered the talk on knowledge management in a networked world. She is a senior manager, Center for Behavioral